What's up guys, it's Manga Time once again. I'm here today to bring you my review of Bleach 570, Closer, Closer. I'm not entirely sure what that title means. I suspect it probably means something a bit more overarching than just to do with this chapter on its own. Now, before we begin, if you haven't voted on my Sternritter poll for the top 3 Sternritter, we've still got a week, it ends this Monday, so please let me know in the comments below who your top 3 favourite Sternritter are. You don't have to say why, and you don't have to do it in any particular order. Just top 3 Sternritter will be great. So yeah, that'd be awesome if you do that. Now on to the chapter. This chapter is nothing like I thought it was going to be, actually. I thought we were going to get a whole chapter of Rukia versus Äs Nödt, but showing off Rukia's Bankai. That doesn't really happen. In fact, the chapter doesn't happen at all how I thought it was going to. It starts off with a flashback. Now, actually, I have to say that I thought this was Unohana in the flashback. I'll tell you what I thought happened in a minute, because it's completely wacky. But it's not. Now, this person, they're in a hospital bed with a respirator, and it's Äs Nödt. Now, I would have realised this if I worked out that that book was Bibel, German Bible. But I didn't realise that at first. It took me another read through to get that. But apparently Äs is quite a religious person. He says, like, you know, if I die, I'll go to heaven or hell. And apparently breathing is painful, living is painful. So something's happened to him. I'll get into what I think it was in a minute. Interestingly, he's got short hair here, and he's also got lips. Like, that's weird. And his eyes are not messed up yet either. But he's basically saying, you know, I hear breathing, it's not very painful in heaven, I hope that's true. So he obviously thinks he's going to die. And, you know, he's now saying he's scared he's going to go to hell. He then notices someone coming through the window of the hospital. And this person says, it seems you're one of the survivors, and it's Yhwach. And he says, I'll give you power. And Äs recognizes him as your majesty. And he's basically, he reveals that he's scared of pretty much everything. So what do I think happened? Well, if Yhwach is there, it can only be one of 2 times. 1,000 years ago, or 9 years ago, after the Auschwitz, when Ichigo's mother was killed. And judging by the fact that Yhwach is old, and Äs is in a modern-looking hospital, this must have taken place after the Holy Selection, meaning that Äs Nödt was a survivor of the Holy Selection. I think so anyway. I think he was in the same position as Katagiri, that he collapsed and was going to die pretty soon. That implies, however, that Äs Nödt was a Gemished Quincy, a mixed blood. And it also implies that he had his power taken from him. So meaning, you know, Yhwach just gave it back to him for some reason. But unfortunately, that's all the flashback we get. I'm glad that we got one, though, considering that no other Sternritter, apart from the Lloyd brothers, has had a flashback so far. So, you know, I stand by what I say. I think Kubo really liked Äs. But unfortunately, this is goodbye to Äs Nödt. Just a moment of silence. Okay, now moving on. We see that, you know, he says, I'm scared, and then he stops speaking, because his brain has been obliterated. You remember his giant form from the last chapter. He's completely frozen, and he's breaking away. He's kind of breaking from the top down. So he's going. Yeah, so Rukia's wiped him out with her Bankai. Looks like a one-shot move. She has this gigantic Tengen-style blade, which is completely see-through, which is awesome, actually. And then we see her. She looks cool. I thought she was going to have a scythe. I was wrong there, but I was right when I said she was going to have new clothes. She looks like some ice princess. She has white hair, like an ice crown, almost. And then she just has, like, robes. She looks very regal. She looks awesome, actually, I have to say. She doesn't look like she can move, though, because she tries to thaw herself out and she just starts breaking. And we get this nice bit where Byakuya comes in, he puts his hand on her hand, and he starts to freeze. And he's like, you know, melt slowly, Rukia, melt slowly. And this is nice. This is like him being a nice brother again. He's really kind of changed since he got annihilated by Äs. And he's like, it was a splendid Bankai, and here he is judging people's Bankais again. But he's like, it's also difficult. The slightest mistake will kill you. Handle it carefully. We get a cool quote, which is, "Remember that a sword held by someone who is about to die will never be able to protect anything." That's interesting. I don't know whether that's 100% true, but it's quite a good quote. And then Rukia, her hair turns back to normal. She's turning back to normal. I think we'll see this Bankai again in the future, and I think she'll upgrade it in the future. But yeah, Byakuya says, "Let's protect Soul Society," and they leave. No idea where they're going, but they go somewhere. We then go back to Isane, who's hiding underground, healing Rose and Kensei, and she's joined by Yachiru Kusajishi, the lieutenant of Squad 11. Excuse me. And apparently she's been into Silburn, stolen some Quincy beds, and come back. So that's quite interesting, actually. This is how the medical division is surviving now that Van Ryck has taken over. They're stealing Quincy stuff. We get a nice little bit here where Isane says, "I'm sorry for asking you to do such a dangerous job," and Yachiru says, "I have nothing to do anyway since Ken-chan isn't coming back." We then get a solemn look on Isane's face because she thinks about Unohana, etc., etc. So apparently Yachiru, when she finds a medicine and bed, she just grabs it and runs off. Isane then thinks to herself, "Did she collect everything that way? It's a miracle we haven't found out yet." Now we then hear a voice, and someone apparently is able to read Isane's thoughts. I'm not entirely sure if they are reading her thoughts or if it's just one of those shonen things where they can somehow apparently know what they're going to say. Now I thought to start with this person was hiding in this barrel behind Isane, but she turns around and she's like, and this person's like, "Where are you looking?" "I'm right here." Boom! They appear. They are bear hugging Isane. This person looks completely insane. This is one of the unknown Sternritter, one of the Sternritters we haven't seen yet. There's now about 3 of them left that we haven't seen at all. He looks weird. He looks like Master Roshi on cocaine. Basically, it's an older Sternritter. His teeth are like not looking great. Very wrinkled, big glasses. Eyes are kind of like looking all over the place. No, they've got like a pair of headphones, I think, on, but like crazy hair. And they keep making this noise that sounds like za 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 za. But basically, this person's like, "I'm going to disappear again in a minute," but then Yachiru punches them in the face. Now, when Yachiru does punch them in the face, the person vanishes. And Yachiru forgets what she was trying to hit. This is a little bit confusing what happens here, but I think she punches herself. Now, the reason for that is this Sternritter is able to appear and then disappear, not just from your eyesight, but from your consciousness altogether, so you completely forget they existed. So what I think happened was Yachiru punched him, forgot he existed, and so rationalised that she must have been punching herself, so she smacks herself in the face. That's what I think happened. I'm not 100% sure, we'll need to know a little bit more of that. But this Sternritter reveals himself to be Sternritter V, Guenael, I'm going to pronounce it Guenael, of the Vanishing Point. Guenael, that's probably a bit more like it, because it's got the EL suffix of like the kind of angelic thing they've been going for. So Guenael of the Vanishing Point. I don't know if he's Sternritter V, the Vanish, or if he is actually the Vanishing Point, because we've never had 2 words before. So that might be a little bit weird. I think it might be better if he's just the Vanish, but he could possibly... I think he might be the Vanishing Point, actually. But that's the end of the chapter. Basically, his ability is that he vanishes from your consciousness and from existence completely, as far as you're concerned. So that's interesting ability, actually. And whether he'll fight Yachiru and Isane, I don't know, because it's about time those two had a battle. This could be the fight we find out Yachiru's Shikai. Of course, this could just be leading up to the eventual return of Kenpachi and which I think people would go crazy about. But in my opinion, Guenael looks a bit fodderish. So I don't know if he's going to fight Kenpachi and Unohana. I can see him fighting Yachiru and Isane. But yeah, that's kind of it for the chapter, really, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. I'm interested to move on now that Äs is dead and start seeing some of these extra Sternritters. Guenael looks a bit fodderish, like I said. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you think of Guenael. And I think we'll possibly see Yachiru Shikai in this fight. We've already seen Isane's Itigumo. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I'm really glad Äs got a flashback. So I'm going to drop a 9 on this chapter, despite the fact that it's a bit disappointing that we didn't really see the end of Äs Nödt. He kind of just got one-shotted and then died. I can forgive Kubo because the rest of the content was actually really good. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of this chapter. I'm going to drop a 9 on this one. But that's it from me, guys, this week. Until next time, remember to vote for your 3 favourite Sternritter. But until next time, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Until then, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.